Welcome to another episode of Accomplished, where we feature members of Comp. And today we have Eddie Stone, multi-instrumentalist, multi-bands.
Multi-band.
And Eddie is also a veteran.
I am.
And thank you for your service.
Proud Vietnam veteran.
And he's also, I want to thank you also because we've done 3 big Comp shows and you've played at every one. 2 of them.
I tell you I show up. When I tell you I show up, I do it.
we did 2 at Grant's Lounge and 1 downstairs here at Capricorn Records. All right, Eddie. So when did the music hit you?
Well, I think I was about 10 or 11 years old. My dad played steel guitar.
Oh, cool.
And there was always a guitar in the corner, and I didn't know why.
Yeah.
But I picked it up, and I learned how to play melodies on 1 string.
Okay.
By myself. And
So you were going way up and down the neck?
1 string. I didn't know that the strings were correlated together. I played You Are My Sunshine and stuff like that, and Dad was impressed, so he took the old Gibson, which I still have. It's my grandmother bought it new. It's a 1929 The Gibson.
And you still it says The Gibson on it.
The Gibson on the headstock. It's a Robert Johnson model.
Okay.
Still have it.
And I worked with Robert Johnson.
Yes, I did. He doesn't remember
60 years after he died, but I did.
Somebody's got to protect the blues guy.
That's right.
There's a lot of Jimmy Pages and people like that out there.
How much is that guitar worth,
I don't. I've had various...
I've seen one in Carter's...
in Nashville.
In Nashville, and it was like $125,000 or something.
Yeah, I think it's belonged to somebody else is the reason
It may have.
I've had anything from $5,000 to $50,000.
Okay.
Total. But nobody's thrown no money out.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to sell it in the next few years. My daughter doesn't.
All right.
My daughter doesn't have an interest in it.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to die and let whoever I'm with, that guitar's worth $200. Okay, here's,
Yeah. So you heard it here. If you're looking for a Robert Johnson Gibson, the Gibson guitar,
I got one.
You can contact us.
Yeah.
So your first professional venture into music was with a band called the Night Riders.
That's correct. I had gotten the Beatles bug. I had gotten a Fender Mustang electric guitar.
Oh, cool.
And bought from Jimmy Guthrie Music.
Okay, which was I guess a local store.
Another Comp people.
Yeah.
And I took lessons from Boudleau's dad.
Boudleaux Allen, who was a guitar teacher here at a place called Bib Music.
And I say teacher, he's the best guitarist in Middle Georgia. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
But Boudleau's dad, Buck, as they called him, Buck Allen, would saw on the fiddle, and about 4 or 5 of us that wanted to play Beatle and Venture songs were playing the Red River Valley and the Milk Cow Blues.
Yeah. With the Night Riders, you were like 15?
15 years old. We did Parver and the Raiders. We did Beatles songs. Our big thing was nobody else was doing them, so we did Yardbird songs.
Oh, cool.
And stuff like that.
For Your Love.
And we did My Girl. And we did bird songs and British songs and stuff.
Yeah.
We probably weren't very good at it, but we did them. We had a Rolling Stones medley. Everybody else did Beatles medley, so we did a Rolling Stones medley.
Yeah. But you eventually, you still play guitar, but you switched to keys.
I segged into keyboards because the number one guitarist said, somebody's got to play organ and it ain't me.
Yeah. So how was that transition?
Well, it was, I won't say it was seamless. It wasn't as hard as it seemed. I had a neighbor next door that had a piano. So I would make the chords and I'd figure out the chords on the piano.
Yeah.
And I got a good ear, so I could kind of get like, that stuff like that. I wasn't good, but I figured some things out,
Well, and I guess you and Gregg Allman, because he started off with guitar, and
we talked about this sometimes.
Yes.
Gregg, when Doc Holliday, who you all know about later on, was on tour, and Gregg was on tour by himself. Gregg was in that trouble phase, and he didn't go out at night.
Yeah.
But he still liked to party and have a good time. So if he chose you, you went to his room and you partied with him.
Yeah.
So I did. It was very fruitful for me. He gave me his mushroom.
Good.
He tried to get it back twice. I wouldn't give it back to him.
Yeah, he would try to give them to women. And
Yes, well, that's what I told him. I said, if I give it back to you, I said, if you were going to keep it, I'd give it back to you.
Yeah.
I said, but you just have a few beers and give it to a woman or something. And he kind of did the Greg pout a little bit, and then he raised up and winked at me and said, "You right, little bro."
Kind of like Gregg, you're known as an organ specialist.
I got into it like he did. I got into the sound of the Hammond organ. I mean,
Yeah.
I love it. No synthesizer recreates it.
Yeah.
Even the small Hammond, digital Hammond that I play is very good.
Right.
And I play it to a Leslie. But if you put it side by side with the organ downstairs, you can't hold a candle to it. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. We have the one we have downstairs. I think it's from the 50s.
It's a late 50s. It's Chuck's organ. It's the first one he had. He
Chuck
bought
Liddell.
it. He bought it over in Alabama sometime.
Yeah.
When he was maybe playing with the guys in Sailcat. Mike Duke and all those guys.
Yeah.
I'm so interlaced with the Alabama music family now because of what I do now. So I've learned a lot.
You mentioned Mike Duke. Paul Horsby was in here about an hour ago, and he worked with Mike Duke. But
Wow, is he right now?
Huh?
He's working with Michael now.
Well, he publishes some songs. For
Oh, okay. He does the publishing.
yeah. But he said he just spoke with him in the last few
Yeah,
days.
I last time I spoke to Mike, he says, "I will always be happy till the day that I die because Huey Lewis and the News gave me several hit songs." He wrote them. I said, "They didn't give you nothing. You wrote those songs."
That's right. That's right. All right. So you mentioned Doc Holliday.
Yeah.
Tell us about how Doc Holliday happened.
Well, there's probably 2 or 3 different versions of this story.
Well, okay.
Mainly because there's only 2 or 3 of us left. There's 3 of us left, actually. But I had been hanging out with Bruce before I got drafted in the Army.
This is Bruce Brookshire.
Bruce Brookshire. And after I got drafted, I came home on leave. And I ran into Bruce somewhere. And he told me, he says, Roundhouse has broke up. Bob wanted to do this and everybody wanted to do that. And he said, I've been doing some dates with Tony Dorsey, playing with Candy Staten and such. And he said, but I got a guy call me about some dates. He said, "You want to play some music while you're home?" So I was home on leave for 30 days. I must have spent 15 days in Roundhouse's practice place and cramming, trying to learn these songs. And then when I left to go back, I had a year left in the Army when I went back.
Yeah.
Bruce said, we're gonna put a band together when you get back. We're gonna go for it, me and you. And in the meantime, he met John Samuelson.
Okay.
And he called me in Germany to tell me that I found us another bass player, Bud Ford's not wanting to, do anything. And he said, but we're still doing it. We stayed in touch that last year a lot.
Yeah.
And when I got home, I was home about 3 days. We was in that practice place and we were putting people together.
And were you still known as Roundhouse?
We were still known as Roundhouse at that time.
Okay.
We were known as Roundhouse even after we signed our deal with A&M.
Yeah.
Right after that is when they said, "We think you should change your name."
Yeah.
And we said, why? Because we thought it was a cool name because the Roundhouse was a cool blues club in London where John Mayall used to play. And so I was big into the Old West. And there was a thing called the Time Life books. that
Oh,
came
sure.
out.
Yeah.
And I scoured that thing. And when I found out that John Henry Holliday, Doc Holliday, was from Georgia, I said, there's the name. Now, nobody else in the band was that fired up about it. So I submitted 2 names, Doc Holliday and Rebel Gray, and it was one other one, and we went to Q106, and they had a contest, and we let them vote on who was going to be. Yes, we did, and who was going to be, and Doc Holliday won out big time.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's interesting. Doc Holliday did 3 albums for A&M Records.
We did.
And I consider A&M Records one of the great record labels.
The largest, most successful independent record label in history.
Yeah, and they had
owned by 2 people.
They had the Police and
Styx, Supertramp, Joe Cocker. It goes on and on.
Oh, yeah.
38 Special.
Yeah.
God, there were so many British bands. Humble Pie. I mean,
and Peter Frampton Solo.
And Peter Frampton Solo.
Yeah. On the 3rd A&M album, there was kind of a change.
It went plywood immediately.
Yeah. And I think in speaking with Bruce about that the change wasn't that popular with you.
Not so. Not so at all. I didn't care for it because the first words out of the producer's mouth when he looked at me was, he's a German guy, you know, he produced Queen, he worked on Stones albums, he produced a lot of different people. He says, there will be no Hammond organ on this album.
That's what Bruce said, yeah.
And I got to say this, you may have to edit it.
Okay.
I was playing this synthesizer that I didn't know even which end to blow in, is the way I called it. But I'm playing along, and I'm playing this track, and I'm playing everything I can. I'm working hard. And when I got done, Mike looked at me and he said, why do you wish to shit all over the track like this?
Wow.
So I made it through that record.
Yeah.
I was not happy.
Yeah.
But I listened to the record today. Sonically, I don't think it sounds good. Every way else in the world, I think that is a brilliant record. And a lot of it goes to Mac. It really does.
Okay. Doc Holliday has gone on, and you guys are big in Europe.
21 albums, I think.
Wow, 21.
There's 19 still in print, sort of to speak. And,
yeah.
You know, all in Europe, except for the first 3.
But you've gone on and played with a bunch of other groups.
I have,
including Grinder Switch.
I did. We were such good friends with Grinder Switch, with Larry and Drew, and Stephen Miller felt sorry for me. He took me under his wing. When we'd go out on the road with him, he'd come in with his little shoulder bag, which was full of warm Miller Lights, by the way.
Okay.
Steve Miller. He would say, we're going to have Hammond Organ 101 today. And he would show me tricks of the trade.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Learned a lot. He's my biggest. Him and Gregg Allman and Booker T. Jones are my biggest influence. And, well, John Lord, too. They're my biggest influences.
Yeah. You've also played some with Stillwater.
Still do that when we do it.
Yeah.
Actually, I was in the beginning of Stillwater before I got drafted. That was the Follies band.
Okay, this was a high school thing.
High school thing.
Yeah. So the Follies was you and Rob?
Rob and Mike Causey.
Mike Causey.
And C.B. Lacey on drums.
C.B.
And Al was not in it. Al had already got mad at the world and quit school. He was going to a private school or something in Macon.
I think it had something to do with long hair.
Hair length.
Yeah, he told me about that.
But the year that we did the Follies, it was relaxed.
Mentioned Rob. It's Rob Walker.
Rob Walker. Rob was in Roundhouse for a time too. I'm sure
really?
Bruce might have told you that.
Okay.
Rob is our family other guitarist.
Okay.
He plays in all the bands.
Yeah. The band you've been playing with most recently is Wet Willie.
I'm the new guy in Wet Willie, and I've been playing with them about 23 years now.
And if you haven't seen Wet Willie, you need to see Wet Willie.
Boy, do you. Jimmy Hall, extraordinaire.
Yeah.
If he was still alive, you could just ask Jeff Beck. He'd tell you.
Oh, yeah. Jimmy sang with Jeff Beck and for quite a few years on quite a few albums.
Jimmy took the moniker that Gregg Allman had when Gregg passed.
Yeah. And you've done solo projects.
I have. I've done 3 solo records.
Yeah.
What became 2 of them were cut right here in this building. They were the last stuff that was cut in this building before the wires were pulled out the first time.
Yep.
Literally, they started pulling wires when we were packing up. You know?
Right, yeah. So we're in Capricorn Studios.
We are in the studio. I'm sorry. This was my home away from home.
Yeah.
A guy by the name of Skip Slaughter was my engineer and co-producer, and he's one of the best bass players, engineers, and producers anybody's ever worked with.
Yeah. Well, I know that a lot of people, when they reach our age, they kind of slow down musically, but I know you still have music in you.
I work. I try to write something, even if it's just a chorus or something. It may not even be finished, but I try to write something every day.
Yeah. And you've actually, was it last year you were producing a band here from Germany?
No, I was actually just playing on the tracks.
Okay.
They're the Southern Rock Junkies, I believe is their name.
Okay.
A guy by the name of Rob Hammer. Heimer. And Rob wanted me to play,
Yeah.
and they sent me the tracks, and our Rob here
Yeah.
got them all together, got them ready, and I came in, and I threw a monkey wrench in the thing.
Yeah,
I brought Bruce Brookshire with me, and Bruce didn't even know if he could play at that time.
yeah.
But by the end of the day, Bruce Brookshire was shredding again.
Yeah.
And it was a very inspirational thing for me. I think it was for him too.
Yeah, I think it was a good day for him. It was fun seeing him down there at the studio. And
Yeah, I was going to let something pass that he said. I said, yes, okay. And he said, no. You know we wouldn't have let this pass.
Yeah.
He says, I'm fixing this.
So you've not only been active as a
Player.
recording artist, player, but you've also produced, and you learned how to produce here at another studio in Macon.
I did. I engineered more than I produced, but I learned about producing there, yes.
Yeah. So tell us about that.
Well, it was
called, was it the
Bobby Smith studio.
Bobby Smith studio, okay.
And it was when Bobby Smith had moved out to buy Idle Hour Golf Course, when it was on Millerfield Road, I think it was.
Yeah.
And Goose was the engineer, and he was cutting anything from Razzie Bailey to the Manhattans. You know?
Yes.
And he allowed my band, the Four Sons, with RJ and such to go in, and he let us cut 2 sides in there.
Cool.
First time we'd ever been in the studio. I'd been hanging out and watching, but I hadn't recorded, and it was cool. Very cool.
Yeah. And this was the studio that, for a while, was like James Brown's studio.
It was Starday King Records, James Brown. And they also did country guys that came down from Nashville.
Yeah.
And
you've
been very faithful to Bobby, because Bobby was a monster in the Macon music scene.
Yeah.
With Confederate Records, and he signed Otis Redding to his first deal, and he could be a horse's butt to work with, but he was also a sweetheart too.
Yeah.
And he had a knack for finding just like Phil, finding these black artists that nobody was messing with.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. And so even before Capricorn Records came to be, Starday King had a deal with him, and they were doing, like you said, both country and R&B.
And Goose was playing rock and roll.
Yeah.
He had a band named Wild Goose, and he's from Texas. They were Texas rock and roll, you know.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
And Bobby doesn't get near enough credit for the Macon music scene, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He knew talent, and he knew how to get it going. And if it took more than 4 takes, it wasn't worth recording.
Well, that's probably pretty good advice.
That's not bad,
today.
you know. But I love Goose Goodrich. He's the one that showed me how to make things work. And I saw, while in my time there, I was the assistant engineer. What that meant was you emptied the trash and filled the coat machine and did all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I saw the Brothers roadies coming over, because we had an 8-track machine at Bobby's place, and they only had an 8-track here when they started, and all the demos for Idle Wild South and some of those things were being done here, and they were bringing them over because the studio was not operating totally, and they were using it to bounce tracks down to bring things, and Goose said, we got to get out. And I said, why? He says, I rented them the machines, and we're not allowed to listen.
Well, if you get a chance to see Eddie play in any situation, especially with Wet Willie, go see a Wet Willie. And Eddie plays a lot on the Georgia coast.
Oh yeah, I played with some other locals from around that were here.
Yeah,
and there's a band called Backbeat Boulevard, and they play everything in the world. And I play with them about once a month, and I keep my hands in shape, you know.
So Eddie, I thank you for being involved with earlier comp shows, and thank you for doing this.
Oh, thank you, Tim. I love you, man. You have worked very hard single-handedly to keep the history alive, and I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, my brother.